You said you're right now a lot into NFTs and Web3. Can you tell us what is Web3?
Okay. So the internet had like 3 phases. You had your Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3.
And
Okay.
for the dummies who don't know.
Yes, I'm going to go through
Sorry,
in a very,
yeah.
So Web 1 was your email and .com. So like all of your websites, literally like the beginning of the internet, right? Then came Web 2, which is YouTube, Facebook, like all your like content creation, Netflix, e-commerce, all of this came into Web 2. So what we realized in Web 1 that the internet helps connect people globally on a very digital world. Web 2 kind of, what it did was it kind of organized and structured a lot of things that could be possible because of the internet.
Right.
So that's how Web 2 worked. The creator economy boomed, e-commerce, digital marketing all came out of Web 2. Web 3 is supposed to be the next phase of the internet.
Okay.
And it's supposed to fix some fundamental problems we have with Web 2. So one of the biggest problems with Web 2 is, if you look at it in broad sense, the model of the internet, the business model of the internet is actually ad revenue, right? If you think about it, like whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram, Google Ads, Facebook, that's how all of these companies and brands make money. The problem with this model has been that, let's take, in order to understand this, let's take Instagram, for example. Instagram is $1 billion company. However, Instagram, it is what it is today because of its content creators, right? But Instagram never pays $1 to its content creators. So the only way that you make money off of Instagram is through sponsorships or partnerships. Or let's say if you are a content creator, a toothpaste company would come, let's say, put an ad on your content where I'm benefiting as a toothpaste brand, and Instagram is obviously benefiting, but you as a content creator are not getting any monetized revenue from the platform. And I think the model is a lot more skewed with Instagram than other platforms. Right. But that's a huge problem because then you are, because the model of the internet is based on ad revenue, brands and products and companies, they don't pay you for your skill and creativity and your intellectual property. They pay you for your audience. And that's a broken model because you're not being paid for your individuality or what you're good at. You're being monetized on because you have an audience. And I think that's where capitalism kind of like seeps into it. Where I was giving an example of a toothpaste brand. Why would like a toothpaste brand ever collaborate? Is putting ads on, let's say, a landscape photographer? That makes no sense and stuff. But the reason that's happening is the landscape photographer, let's say, has like 2 million followers. So this model is broken. So, and I'll talk about that, how we are fixing this. So there is this aspect we are trying to fix. The other aspect we are trying to do is get into the concept of decentralization. So the concept of decentralization in very fundamental terms is saying that instead of very few people having a lot of power, everyone should have a little bit amount of power. So we all control the system equally without some people who are controlling systems, companies, products who kind of bulldoze everything. So for example, if you're saying the decisions of Instagram should be made by a couple of people of how the model pivots. Tomorrow if Instagram comes out or YouTube comes out and they're like, oh, we are now a blogging platform, or we are changing our model and stuff and everything, they shouldn't get to decide it. The concept of decentralization is that throughout history, power and money has been the reason where people get exploited. You change businesses and companies, that all happens. So decentralization is a key component to giving people freedom and giving them the choice that if you are part of the system, that you should have some rights in the system by contributing to the system, right? And the reason I'm talking about this when it comes to like content creation. So for example, let's say you've built a brand for years to come on YouTube or Instagram or Snapchat or whatever. Let's say one of these companies or brands go like bankrupt, like the app shuts down, MySpace used to be a big thing that kind of shut down. We've had like a lot of social media platforms. Let's say you've built your brand and your intellectual property on these platforms and they stop existing. What happens to you, right? So right now, when you upload a photograph on Instagram, it's uploaded on a centralized server of Instagram. When you upload something on let's say YouTube, it's uploaded on a centralized server of YouTube. So you are at the mercy of these platforms. What we are saying is, what decentralization is talking about, that all of the content that we put out should be put on a decentralized server where all these platforms are working as aggregators. So if Instagram wants to show you my photograph, it's taking from this decentralized platform and showing it to you. If YouTube wants to show my content, it's taking from this decentralized platform and showing it to you. Why is that important? If any of these platforms go bust, you don't lose your brand, your IP, your provenance. If you've been doing videos for 14 years and if YouTube shuts down, what happens to your brand, right? The other thing it does is when you upload something on YouTube, now you're bounded by the rules and regulations and the model of YouTube. So the YouTube has like a 45-55% revenue model for its creators. Let's say they change that to 60% tomorrow. You will not be able to do anything about it. You are at the mercy of their platform. They have no competition. So you are kind of at the mercy of them. Why this is important, that once your content is actually in a decentralized platform, then if tomorrow a competitor of YouTube comes and let's say is going, oh, instead of 45 and 55%, let's give the creators 75%, and I'm only going to take 25%. But you don't have to worry about, oh, should I post the content on YouTube or this new platform? Also, if you start on this new platform, you're kind of starting from scratch, right? Which you don't want to do. But let's say your brand and your IP, your provenance is actually on a decentralized server where these platforms act as aggregators. This gives you more power in terms of flexibility. More and more platforms are going to come, give creators better revenue models, better organizational structures. It'll actually improve the industry a lot because everyone's winning, right? I think that's what we are trying to fix with the concept of decentralization. So Web3 is kind of trying to fix a lot of models that existed in the previous phases of the internet and are kind of incentivizing that, what we are trying to do in a very short essence is we are trying to remove the middle person. That if you are a creator and I am the consumer of this creativity, that whatever money that you make, whatever revenue that you get out of this, if you want to make a living, it should be between us. This middle person shouldn't be taking 45%. They shouldn't be taking, traditional art galleries, they take 55%, 40% from their creators and stuff, which is absolutely crazy because they're not the one creating the art and stuff. So in very broad sense, decentralization, Web3, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, all what they're fighting for is, instead of this middle person having a lot of power, that you and I, as part of the transaction, should be the ones who are having powers.